Hello and good evening, welcome back to the Competitive Speed Series. My name is Frostbreath and I'll once again be your commentator for tonight because it should have been a break week this week. However, last week when we were in Monza, Steam decided to act up quite a lot, twice in fact, causing the race to be delayed and cancelled for that night until this week, where hopefully Steam will be behaving this time round. Should be. I don't believe there have been any issues so far today on the Steam side, so let's hope everything will remain stable. So, once again, welcome back to the halfway point of the season. This is Monza, where we will be driving around in 27 laps, plus some more during the short qualifying session, of course. And then we will see how the teams will be standing after tonight. Speaking of which, let's see how those standings are as of right now. After France 2 weeks ago, GRS leading the way with only 3 points in between them, and WOR in second place. 137 to 134. It's a very close margin. MLR, of course, is still on the run for the lead as well, with just 10 points behind GRS. OP not too far behind either. And after ABS finally got off the ground with a victory in front, they are climbing up the standings. Not all drivers are the same like they were last week. That is of course why qualifying will also be redone. Not everybody was able to get their final hot lap in when Steam decided to shut down again. There's plenty of names we saw last week. Some good news for the ERT and the GS team, because both teams are now complete. Nathan no longer has to drive alone for ERT, as George Chalkley is now in for their team as well. For the GS team we have Guti Balint and we have Seb from Sweden in both the Aston Martin cars. For ABS, we actually have the same drivers that we had last week with Noé Grosjean, Tony Richet. Same goes for WOR. We have Ilias Psaros, the man who sat on pole position last week until the game decided to die. Janesh Dovshan, who was on his way to improve one way or another when the game stopped working. So they are both back as well. For the OP team, I believe Nando Moreira is the same as last week. We do not have Candy King with us for the team, so Louis Valentin will be driving for the Outplayed Racing team. Let's see who else we have. For the NLR team we have Charles Sutton and Dwight Chow driving around in the Haas cars. Spark have Magic and Alex Fair. GRS once again with Luke Mills and Cry Thielem. We have, let's see, who's still missing actually. There's one driver not present in the lobby yet. We have the FFC team, of course. Aaron Raminges is in right now for the Mercedes team. One of the other drivers is still missing. ETE has Roman Dishmay and Istvan Tamashi driving in the Red Bull cars, and that should pretty much summarize it for the teams. I believe the only driver missing then, yes, is the second FFC driver. That is, let's see here, Raul Reis, not present yet for the team. Oh, there we are. There he is. We are actually complete. Good to go. And ready to run. So, pray with me that the game will remain stable, that Steam will remain operational during tonight's session, so that we won't have to delay again, because we are about to get underway. 27 laps coming up on one of the fastest tracks on the calendar, if not the fastest track on this 10 race long calendar. 11 corners, 27 laps, 18 minutes of qualifying. Should be good, should be very good. People of course at the Discord saying the same thing as I just said, hoping the Steam servers won't die. We already have a WOR fan once again in the chat, WOR on top. Let's see if they can actually do that after tonight. They're only 3 points behind. ETE and of course, very hard to see, Spark have their work cut out for them. 9th and 10th. Spark at the start of the season was doing quite well. Now, however, they find themselves nearly at the bottom of the list. So, for ETE, Roman Dishmay and Istvan Tamashi have a job to do. They were not present during the third round in this season, as you can see on the standings list here. They did get penalized for that. And now let's see if they can get some points on the board. Of course, the top 15 getting points here. All the way from 35 down to 1 point, so plenty of points to be gained. And right now we're going for it. The weather has been reset as well. No more clear weather as it was last week. Since this is an entire new session, the weather is back to random. We're loading in as we speak, and then we will see how things are on the track. I just saw one of the drivers leave the session. I'm not entirely sure who it was. Let's have a quick look. Let's see if I can figure out. I think, no, both OP drivers, are they in? No. One of the OP drivers has left. And already some issues apparently. Louis has turned to spectator mode for some reason. Let's see if he can go into the car. That's the second OP driver we're missing right now. There we go. We are in. Let's turn on some things. Telemetry off. Track map, full track map. All drivers in the garage, getting their setup ready. And let's see if Louis can get back in. Otherwise, the lobby will already have to restart. Not the smoothest of operations right now. Seems like the sound isn't really working yet. Still a glitch on the game apparently. There we go. The first to leave the garage, to leave the pit lane is Elias Psaros in the McLaren. The man who had provisional pole last week here in Monza until the session was completely cancelled after a second Steam outage. Off we go! Elias Psaros. The first man out, Aaron Raminguez following suit, and all of the NLR cars. That is Charles Sutton on his way. And I can see one of the... yeah, it's Nathan Samba actually. The surprise in France. He claimed the podium. There's Louis Valentin. Once again, let's see if he's able to rejoin properly and get his car on the road to the second AlphaTauri. Some help apparently in the chat is on the way, so let's hope it can be fixed. He will rejoin. Yep, should be all good then. No lobby restarts, hopefully. No unfair penalties either, because they'll be causing another restart, of course. Shouldn't forget that. There we go. We're complete. Elias is very enthusiastic with heating up the tires here on the final straight of the track before heading into Parabolica. As you can see in the background, the Mercedes of Aaron Raminguez. 18 minutes of qualifying, the first man on his way, Elias Psaros from Greece, coming out for WOR. It has started now. Let's see where he can put his car for the time being. There's some traffic ahead, so let's hope he can make his way through safely as he goes into the first chicane. Turns 1 and 2, nice and easy, no big push yet. A banker lap is the safest option to do. Don't go to the limit just yet, as one of the AlphaTauris is driving right over here. And I believe is actually Nando Moreira. It's 26.122. Not too shabby. Oh, a little bit in the gravel there. Tiny bit too wide. Coming out of turn 5. Through the Lesmos then. Nice and easy does it. Some gravel, of course, had to be shaken off the front left tire. Meaning that a potential imbalance was there when going through the corners. This lap time, I think, will be less than optimal. 52.4. Let's see where the other car will be placing itself. That's Aaron Raminguez, 52.2, already 2/10 quicker. Just imagine how much time then Elias has lost through that little mistake out of turn 4. Meaning, of course, he'll have to go again. Obviously, 14.5 minutes remaining. Plenty of time to improve the mistake he's made. As Elias Psaros is about to cross the line with a 1:18.5. Let's see where Aaron will be. As he follows suit across the line, it will be a 1:18.5. He's lost some time through the final sector then. He was 2/10 faster through the middle sector. So, for now, the fastest man overall. Let's see who else will be crossing the line. We have Nathan Samba crossing it with an 18.6. And then, of course, across the line should be coming one of the Haas cars. Charles Sutton, yes, there we go. Fourth fastest overall right now, a 19.1. Rail Race, the other Mercedes, a 19.3. And slowly but surely, all the lap times are starting to come in. We're following Magic over here, one of the Alpine cars. Of course, their team hasn't had the greatest of runs previously in France. They were looking to be on the back foot in terms of both qualifying and race pace. 26.0 though is quite nice, and I believe that is faster than Elias was through the first sector, and he does not go in the gravel, so that is some good news there. As Noé Grosjean goes now into P5, Janesh Dovjan actually slots into that 4th position I was about to mention. And we have a new provisional pole sitter as well. 5 milliseconds quicker goes Dwight Chow in the second Haas car. So NLR right now on P1 and P7 on their run to claim the championship lead. Their main rival, of course, being WOR. GRS at the moment, both are on their out laps. Both Krythelum and Luke Mills on their way. They're driving right behind one another. Let's see if they will be giving one another a tow. We'll know in a few moments. Magic then, through the final corner. Let's see if he actually can live up to his name and show us some of that magic. Where will he be? It's going to be P11, a 19.9. It's quite a lot slower actually than Rowe was. And once again, it's looking like Spark Team might be on the back foot. Nando Moreira has just slotted in 3rd place, just ahead of Elias Psarros with a 18.564. His teammate Louis Valentin just crossed the line in a 18.7. Noé Grosjean currently sitting 8th, and Guti Balint right now in P10. So let's see who else is on the way. Tony Richer is about to cross the line there. The second ABS driver goes fastest overall, and quite a lot quicker actually than Dwight was, with an 18.376. So there you go, a very nice time indeed, as we now finally see both GRS drivers on their way. Krythelum is in front, Luke Mills is behind. It looks like they'll each be driving their own laps. Let's see where both William cars can put themselves on the grid tonight. They are 3 points in the lead right now, so they've got something to defend here, as potentially 2 teams can overhaul them tonight. We have WR sitting in 5th and 7th. The GRS team right now sitting in, let's find them. Of course, they have to still set a lap time, 17th and 18th. I meant actually to say the NLR team was what I was looking for, sitting 2nd and 10th right now, as both cars have now finished Sector 1. Alex Fair on his way as well. I believe George Chalkley right now heading for a hot lap as well, but he's going slow. Might have invalidated it then. Let's see here. No. Maybe the AlphaTauri has blocked him, or he was very dissatisfied with the lap. Either way, he's not going to go for a fast time right there. In the meanwhile, Krythelum through the Variante Scari as they approach the final straight there before going into Parabolica. Luke Mills just ahead. He'll be first across the line, followed by Krythelum. A 1 minute 19.1 actually, P11 for the time being. Krythelum in 19.3. I'm sure both would like an improvement on that. They've already admitted that qualifying is not their best thing, to be fair. Usually they do it on race pace, and so far they've done it well, because that's where the points are being handed out. And they are in the lead still, only by a tiny margin, as they see their main rival car passing by. That is actually Elias Psarros, I believe, once again on an outlap. It's actually Janesh. Yeah, Elias is about to start the second attempt, actually. There's 4 drivers still sitting in the pit lane. Roman, George Chalkley, who wasn't satisfied, Istvan Tamashi, and Seb, all not yet having set a lap time. I believe from the top of my head, Roman had a qualifying ban, if I remember correctly from last week, so that might be the reason why he hasn't been out yet. Elias on his way. Let's see where he will be this time round. Meanwhile, Alex Fair, 20.2, that's not very fast, unfortunately. Through the Lesmos once again. I don't believe he's made the same mistake twice now, in or out of turn 5 actually. Onto the back straight, DRS flat out open. Let's see where he'll be going. In the middle sector, what will the improvement be? It's a 80.5 compared to 80.3. That was about 1.5 tenths quicker there. Potentially could be on the front row, or even better than that. If it's 2 tenths, it's not enough yet, but there's one more sector to go. In fact, this corner here, a lot of time can be gained or lost if you get it correctly or totally wrong. Let's see then As he comes across the line, will he be on provisional pole? No, he just misses out by 3 milliseconds actually. That is big, that is huge. A second attempt is still not enough to go for the pole position there. Once again, looks like Tony Richet and Elias Psaudos, just like last week, are having a fight for pole. Not sure if pole is entirely ideal on a track like this, to be fair. It's quite a long run to the first corner. Slipstream is quite powerful in this game, shouldn't forget that. We're watching Seb at the moment. One of 4 drivers not having set a lap time. Of course, having to let Janesh through. As he's on his way, 11 milliseconds quicker through the first sector, 47 milliseconds quicker through the middle one. No huge improvements yet for the second WR driver. Right now it only means an improvement of 1 position. So let's see if that will be enough. Because again, through turn 11, I'm surprised though, the Williams cars are still out. They are not going for a hot lap, maybe they're just going down for additional cooldown lap. Yep, there they go once again. Look at that, nearly 2/10 of an improvement in the final sector alone. That is quite impressive as he goes up to 4th place. And the Moreira, another driver to keep an eye out for, is pretty quick. And that's something the OP team can definitely use. Look at that, more than a 10th up on his previous lap time. It's incredibly tight at the top. He's an 18.564 right now. That would elevate him to about 3rd position as he gets a nice tow there from his teammate. Well done, beautiful teamwork once again by the OP team. And of course now Louis Valentin can benefit from the slipstream in reverse right there. As now Nana Moreira comes across the line, goes fastest thanks to the teamwork, almost a 10th quicker than Tony Richet. We have a 3rd player going for provisional pole position tonight as Louis gets a nice tow there. We've seen another improvement. Now Aaron Ramirez is in 5th place already. Nathan Samba still sitting around in the pit. Spark Magic Mister has been hanging around in 10th place and confirming there that Romain is serving a qualifying ban. He's of course going out now to test the setup of his car. His teammate Istvan Tamashi is currently on his way. I'm not sure if Romain is allowed to give him a tow since he's got a qualifying ban. He's still out on track, but nonetheless, teamwork is happening for Team ETE. As you can see right here, Romain is giving Istvan a nice tow there as he can't set a lap time himself. That's the best thing he can do. Istvan then, let's see where he will place his Red Bull. ETE, of course, definitely needing the points tonight. They've got some work to do. Last in the standings, the Red Bull cars are, as it's a big contrast as opposed to the real life standings going white there, but the game does not invalidate the lap. I think all 4 wheels were off the track, but that of course is from our point of view. It was a bit difficult to see. 52.4 through the middle sector, not too bad. Go through the Ascaris then. Let's see where he'll be. Louis Valentin then going quickest overall. It looks like the teamwork for Team OP is working out quite well as they are now occupying the entire front row. They're looking healthy tonight and they might be clawing home some important points. Let's see where Istvan will place the car, going 11th with an 18.6. The fact that the pack is so close tonight suggests that here, look at this, just over 4/10 slower than provisional pole is only P11. And the tiniest of an improvement, even a 10th quicker, is already good enough for P9. It just shows how competitive the grid is this season here in the competitive speed series. George once again going slow. Well, he should have been on a hot lap already. Not sure what's going on here. Robin Dijmé, of course, hasn't retired yet, I believe. He's going to help his teammate again. So, we're past the halfway point here in short qualifying. The front row is occupied by the Outplayed Racing team. I bet you didn't see that one coming. Jerez on the back foot in terms of qualifying, only 13th and 17th. Well, we shouldn't forget their race pace is absolutely brilliant. We've seen Luke Mills cut through the field plenty of times. Rethylum has been usually around P6 through P11-ish in terms of race pace. So let's see. A pole. Who will be on pole position? WR or OP? That's going to be interesting. Both drivers debut on PC. I haven't seen either name here. Nando Moreira, I believe, was here last week until the race got cancelled, so technically this is still his debut. Elias Pteros once again on his way. Nando Moreira currently on his outlap. Let's see if he can go even quicker. Right now it's a fight for pole between two teammates. They've given one another a nice tow. Let's see if they can do so again. Teamwork, especially here on Monza, is key if you want to have a nice tow. It works brilliantly on whichever straight you are, but I think it works best if you do it on the main straight. Gethylum, once again, coming out. They're going for another attempt. Luke Mills once again just ahead. Looks like both drivers are once again doing it on their own. Let's see how Ilias is doing on his third attempt. 2.5 minutes remaining. Time is running out. It's going to get busy very, very soon. You can already see every driver pouring out of the pit lane already. George still not having set a lap time. And Elias is about to hit traffic somewhat. Thankfully for him, the Mercedes is going up to speed now. As he's going to go across the line. Where is he going to go? Is it going to be pole? Yes, it is! At least for the time being, of course. An 18.1. Now the big question, of course, is going to be... will we hit the 1 minute 17 mark here tonight? Well, that would be quite epic. We haven't seen it last week due to issues. I'm sure it would have been otherwise. Aaron Ramirez was second out on track at the start of the session on his way. But look at the amount of traffic he's got to encounter. It's going to be absolute chaos. Nando Moreira might potentially run to the same amount of traffic, but I believe this man might be in the biggest amount of trouble. Every car has to move out of the way quickly. There's Alpine just ahead. Thankfully also moving out of the way. So far so good for Aaron. But probably it's going to be quite distracting. There we go, going quite wide, but not fast enough out of the track there to get his lap invalidated. So that's a big lucky oof for him there. He can still keep going. His teammate is a couple of meters ahead. There he is. Probably is going to give him a tow there. Then to switch it around, of course, FFC doing the same thing as Outplayed Racing did. Never mind, not going to give him a tow. In fact, Aaron has given up the lap. Because we saw his battery light flashing. So that is not going to work out. In the meanwhile, I believe Janesh has just started his hot lap. In fact, through the first sector he goes. No, 1.4 seconds slower. So sitting in P6 right now. Nando Moreira then has gained a tow once again from his teammate. Let's see if he can reclaim provisional pole. Bit of a lag spike there. Let's see as they come across the line. It's not good enough for Nando Moreira. In fact, it's now Louis Valentin who has got to do it there. From France for the Outplay team. Debut on PC, looking quite healthy. It's not going to be an OP1-2 then. Oh, dearie me, that's one of the Mercs there going off. A bit of a problem there. One of the Alpine cars, I believe, is off as well. Not entirely sure what's going on there. It was in fact Aaron who went off there, who hasn't been able to improve his lap time ever since the start of the session. It's not looking good for him then. Back to Louis though. He's invalidated. Oh dearie me, it looks like definitely not OP in pole position then. Is anybody else going to be able to do something about it? We have Dwight Chow. He's already given up, I believe. He's fourth fastest. Is Tony Richet on a hot lap? No, he's invalidated. Looks like, oh my goodness me, he's just decided to not brake whatsoever and just completely plow his Ferrari into the wall. What on earth happened there? Did his brake just become unresponsive, or was this just an act of frustration? Oh dearie me. I'm trying to find out if anybody is still on their way. Seb, currently trying to improve. I'm looking at GRS, P9 for a Crethylum, so well done to them. Luke Mills, only P15. Look at this, 0.2 of an improvement for Seb. Is he gonna do some impressive magic here for the GS team? Can he potentially steal provisional pole? He'll have to find a lot of time, of course, through the final sector. But this is going to be the surprise of the night. Let's see, already anybody else? Nathan Samba has gone in, 11th fastest. Istvan Tamashi in P12 for ETE. Where is Seb going to be across the line? It will certainly be an improvement, but until where? It's up to P6. As Noé Grosjean goes up to 9th position. Janesh Devjan will be starting from 7th. And the OP team is looking the best team of the night on 2nd and 3rd. ABS, only 5th and 9th. They're usually the qualifying beasts, but not today on Monza. So that concludes qualifying then. Elias Psaros starting on pole position, I should say. Then we have Louis Valentin and Nando Moreira second and third. Dwight Chow in P4, Tony Richet starting from 5th, Seb in P6, Janesh Devjan in P7, Aaron Dominguez in P8, Noé Grosjean in P9, and Thylum in 10th place. Then the sub-top 10, of course, Nathan Samba in 11th, Istvan Tamashi in P12, Raul Reis in 13th. We'll be seeing Charles Sutton in the second NLR car starting in P14, probably a bit disappointing for him. Luke Mills in 15th, and we'll be looking at the rest in a moment's time. Nathan Samba frustrated about being blocked twice apparently in his fast lap. Not being amused whatsoever, that explains why he's only starting from 11th. Where were we? Yeah, we have Magic starting from P16, Guti Balind only in P17, Alex Fair in P18, Roman Dishway with a qualifying ban in 19th, George Chalkley hasn't set a lap time either, and I do not think he had a qualifying ban, well he was starting from last. So let's see what he can do from there. And let's see if Team GRS can climb their way back up to the top, as they've got their main rivals from WR in 1st and 7th. So right now the team in orange has got the best papers to take the championship lead after tonight. Now then, as we go on to the main event, the race, 27 laps coming up. I do not know anything about the weather, but I personally always hope the rain is going to be throwing a bit of a spanner in the works. Shouldn't forget to mention, of course, our new sponsor since last week, Sim Racing Center, the place where you can get interesting and nice setups, strategies, and of course engineering coaching sessions as well. Make sure to type the SRC command in the chat, that is !SRC, to get a link to get 5% off your order on their site. There we go, cloudy then. 20 drivers awaiting cloudy circumstances. Let's see if the rain is going to be a fact. If anybody is in contact with one of the drivers, it would be nice to get some insider information, as of course spectators cannot see any weather at all. We'll just have to guess from our point of view. Last week, 2 weeks ago I should say, isn't last week anymore. 2 weeks in France we had rain just past the halfway point of the race, making a very interesting and mixed grid all of a sudden. And that's where we saw Nathan Samba rise to the occasion, claiming nearly a victory. In the final few laps he made a mistake, otherwise he might have won it, but still finished third nonetheless. We saw WR struggle there. And yeah, that was quite interesting to see. I swear it looks like it's raining. It's not raining. We see dry tires everywhere. It's 5 red lights in fact, and we are officially on our way, finally, after a week delay, for the 5th race of this season. Elias Psaros leading the way from both OP cars. Is Dwight Chow going to open an attack? No, it's Louis Valentin going in the attack mode into turn 1. On the inside, Elias might get a nice run there, but he can't. We saw one of the cars going straight through there into turn 1. Couldn't brake in time. Not sure who it was, but it looks like it might have been Janesh Devjan. He's lost a load of positions now. He's getting overtaken by Istvan Tamashi, under threat from other cars as well. Louis Valentin taking the lead then of the race. We see Nando Moreira and Seb there fighting his way up the field, but he gets a bit of contact there with the second OP car. Now it's Tony Richet trying to claim P5 from him. Unsuccessfully doing that though. Nathan Samba has got a brilliant start already, up to 8th position. Noé Grosjean still hanging around in 9th place. Krythilum hanging around in P10. And it looks like Tony Richet has finally got his way past Seb. Seb back demoted down to P6. Might even become P7 as Aaron Dominguez got a nice start as well. Up into 6th place he goes for the FFC team. So far though, apart from the car going straight through, which I think was the Janesh Devjan, we see the Ferrari of Tony Richet going wide as well. We've had a fairly clean start, no big incidents, and I think every single front wing is still intact. So that's good news for every driver. Let's see though if Louis Valentin can continue to keep the lead of the race. Janesh got his work cut out for him. And look at that once again. Elias Psaros on the attack. He's going to have to go around the outside once more. But he's already passed the car of Louis Valentin before the corner even happens. Retaking the lead of the race. Let's have a quick look at the tires everybody is using. Of course, that's quite a nice and interesting fact to see. Most drivers starting on the hards. Elias Psaros trying to make the most of his medium tires. There's a bit of lag from my side. Unfortunately, not sure what's going on there. The game, as usual, is being poorly optimized, as we all know. This is a very nice camera angle from a fence. So there we are then. The second lap is now on his way. 4 drivers on the mediums, the rest on the hards, which means that Elias, Seb, Nathan and Raul will have to make the most of their tires in this first stint. Otherwise, they will be in trouble during the second stint. That is, of course, if there's no safety car. That's going to change things around. Look at that. Then Nathan Samba on the attack for the next place here on the field. He goes up to 7th place. Aaron going a little bit off the track there. Might have gotten a warning. He's now demoted back down to P8. And Nathan is on a roll right there. In the meanwhile, though, Dwight Chow, the new driver on the podium, places up to P3 as DRS will be enabled right there. Elias Psaros, of course, with the fastest lap of the race, as Dwight Chow tries to hang on the top two. It looks like they're slowly but surely pulling away. Plenty of things then going on in the first 2 laps. We see Magic there going for an overtake, but it looks like George is not giving up that easily. George Shockley starting from the back of the field, having to cut his way through it, and now is in between both Spark cars. Romain Desmay, in the meanwhile, is now being demoted to last after serving his qualifying ban. He's now back up to race pace. Let's see where he can go. This is interesting as well. We see Noé Grosjean losing connection to the top 7. He's now the lead car of the second pack of cars all the way down until last place, and that might be a problem for him. He'll be a sitting duck on this straight as DRS is now unable to lose connection even more. Now that he doesn't have DRS, all the cars ahead do. And there we go, the first attack from Aaron Raminguez as he goes back up into 8th place. Krethielem, I believe, is closing in from behind. There we go, it's Janesh Devjan now back up in 11th place as he gone past Will Race. Trying to get back into that fabled top 10. Meanwhile, Louis Valentin is holding the cards to his chest. As he does have DRS, but I don't think he's trying that hard to attack just yet. Making sure he gets a nice tow until turn 1 and staying behind, as you can see. We've seen this tactic quite a lot in league racing these days. Just saving battery, making sure he's ready for the attack later down the line and hoping that Elias's tires will get worn out quicker than he would have liked. Look at that then, 3 wide here as they go through turn 2 and 3 there. It's Janesh, Noé and Aaron going for a feisty battle there for P9, and Janesh came out best as he's now back into the top 10, trying to gain connection to Krethielem, who's doing everything they can. 2.5 second gap there to get connection to the top 7 once more. Unfortunately, I can't give you the telemetry view for either car, as other teams might take some benefit from that. So to make sure everything is fair and square, no telemetry, unfortunately, during the spectating of these races. But I'll assure you, when the lights are flashing, we know it's bad. That's all we can say right now. So then, 2 groups have formed. Nathan is preparing his next attack on Seb. He's on the mediums, and so is Seb. It looks like Nathan has got a little bit more pace than the Aston Martin ahead. Although his final corner accident wasn't as he would have liked, so that means Seb has closed the gap to Tony Richer. And Nathan has not been able to mount an attack. We see Raul Race there going for a move. It's absolute chaos in turn 1 over here between both Mercedes and Noé Grosjean. Krethielem trying to stay desperately ahead of all of those cars. And it's now Janesh Devjan who's managed to go up into P8. And now he's got a 3.5 second gap to cover to get back to the top 7. Maybe Elias can play a factor into that by trying to hold up the entire pack of cars behind by playing it smartly. But of course it's up to the team of WOR. Teamwork might potentially be important here. Looks like it's going to be a very difficult task for Ilias to do that. Of course, the cars behind are not going to hold back if he wants them to. So I'm not sure if he can mean anything useful here for Dinesh. The gap is only increasing, as you can see, 4.1 seconds now, only half a lap later. Seven cars fighting for the lead. Make sure to leave your predictions in the chat. Let me know who you think will come out on top. I think any of these 7 drivers has got a nice shot at winning the race, but do not forget, safety cars can completely throw things into the mix. We see Aaron Dominguez going into the pit lane. Is there damage to the car then? I wonder. Second group, some close fighting as well there. Nearly Guti Balint plowing his Aston Martin into the back of Magic's Alpine. Looks like Magic now got a bad exit out of turn 2. Can Guti Balint go for the move then into turn 4? That's the question. Looks like he's going to have a little look at the car ahead. He's not going to go for it. Some predictions coming in. People saying Ilias. Tony Richet is a name that I see in the chat as well. Well, let's see who's going to be right. I'd like to make a prediction as well, but when I do that, the driver who I name will have terrible luck, so I won't. I'm very good at jinxing drivers. So I'll keep my predictions to myself as we view the trees from the camera here. Still no raindrops. It looks like it's still bone dry, yet cloudy on track. 6 laps finished now. It looks like for a moment I thought Louis Valentin was going for an attack. He isn't though. He's staying behind nice and easy, although Ilias has decided to go defensive a little bit before going into turn 1. Somewhat trying to break the toe as Kretylum goes on the offensive once again. And only they are going on the offensive. Noé Grosjean nearly had a go at Jeunesse Dejean as well. Jeunesse realizing he's definitely not in the clear when driving around in P8. So he'll just happily tag along when Kretylum, I keep messing up the pronunciation of their name. As they try to stay ahead in 8th place. We have a yellow flag and a safety car. What on earth just happened? I'm not sure. If anybody has been paying attention to the minimap, I'd like to know what happened, but I'm in the dark here. Why there is a safety car right now? It's Aaron back in the pit lane. Has he made a mistake then? I think he's just given another front wing. Perhaps he's the one that caused the safety car because he's gone for a second pit stop in 2 laps. Aaron crashed into the pit wall, I see. Well, there you go. The top 7 tried to pull away. They can no longer do so. So I wonder who's going to pull into the pit lane. It looks like everybody. Yep, there we go. The entire grid is going to pull into the pit line, I think. No. For a moment there I thought the Thailand was going to continue on. But they are not. In fact, it's Magic who has decided to continue. Now this is interesting. Spark knowing they're on the back foot in terms of race and qualifying pace, so they leave one of their drivers out. Guti Balint, Roman Dishmay decide to stay out as well. This is fascinating. I think these 3 are thinking there'll be another safety car. And their tires are not that old, to be fair. And the next car behind is Ilias Psaros on fresh hards. So the difference between those tires, I'm not sure if it's going to be that big in terms of pace. Kretylum, yeah, right, thank you. I'm trying. That's what you get when you're Dutch, you know. Some names just don't roll out of your tongue. Off your tongue, I should say, as nicely as they should. Thank you for correcting me. I always appreciate that. Or Quill, that also works. Huh. I'll try to remember that one. Quill. I like that. My prediction 100% right. I win. Well. or something. I also see some people begging me to say who I think is going to win. I'm going to keep my mouth shut, I'm sorry. We like commentators' curse, not on GRS drivers. Well, in that case, no, I just won't. Lap 8. We're waiting for Aaron to catch up to the pack, I'd say. He's about half a minute behind them all. We have now this man leading the field. Exactly that, Casper, thank you. The commentator's gotta be neutral. Although don't blame me when I let my emotions... Oh, look at that! This is interesting. Roman Dismay has decided to pit after all. And this, I think, is not a bad idea. And let me explain you why it's not a bad idea. Because he was driving around the back of the field anyways. So by staying out for an extra lap, he saved his softs. I'm not sure why he's gone to the softs though. This man, I think, especially is hoping for a second safety car, because then his strategy would be brilliant. Same goes for George Chalkley, who's gone for a fresh set of mediums. He was in the back of the field as well, so he's now got the freshest tires of the lot. I wonder though if he can keep them alive for 18 more laps. That's going to be a stretch, I'd say, because tire wear, despite the long straights, is quite severe here in Monza, I believe, from the top of my head. Yes, in case you're wondering, how does the commentator type in the chat and commentate at the same time? No, I'm not in the chat. It's Ace who is typing, and me, Frost, who is talking. So there you go. So then, Magic is leading, Guti Balint is second. Elias, who would like to take back that lead, he's gonna have to get past those two cars ahead. And I wonder how hard both Magic and Guti are going to defend against the two, or the pack of drivers, I should say, behind on all of them on fresh tires. 12 laps on the softs at decent speed. It's not going to be enough, I'm afraid. But he can just go do soft and then to another set of softs. Because he's got those sets anyway. So why not? Safety car staying out for another lap here. Looks we'll be restarting at the end of lap 10. And it's Guti who decides to go in the pit lane as well. I believe he was also at the back of the field. So once again, might not be a bad decision. But I wonder which tires he's going to take on. Mediums. And that means now Magic is the sole driver not to have pitted. He probably went too soft to go to the hards next lap. He hasn't. Roman Dismay is still driving around on those softs. He can carve his way through the field if he plays it smart. But those tires, of course, will have big speed for 6 or 7 laps, and then it's just basically try to survive till they have to come in again. Of course, taking into account that they will last for 12 laps. Guti Balint has connected to the field once again. He's now the last driver. He was second for a few laps. Elias is now back in second place. Louis Valentin right behind Dwight Chow, still in fourth. Tony Richer now in P5. Thanks to the double stack, we shouldn't forget to mention that one. Nando Moreira is now in 9th place. So, yeah, they pitted at the same time. They were very close together, of course, and it has cost Nando. Looks like Janesh hasn't lost that much time, despite the double stacked pit stop, because Elias was about 6 or 7 seconds ahead by that time. So he's lost only 2 places. He was in 9th or 8th, now down to 11th. So, Magic leading the field. Let's see how long he can retain that lead. And when he's gonna go. The safety car still hasn't come into the pit lane. There you go. You can start to go and move at any second now. Off he goes. A nice restart, in fact. He actually caught Elias Psarras napping, and that I tip my hat for. Well done, a great restart there for Magic, and it looks like Elias Psarras has been caught napping so much that Louis Valentin has decided to go to the offensive immediately, giving Magic an even bigger head start there as the race is now officially back underway. Tony Richet on the attack as well, side by side with Dwight Chow, and Elias Psarras, while he was asleep on the main straight, gets overtaken by not potentially one car, but maybe even 4 cars in the restart, as he now loses out to many cars. Tony Richet goes up into 30 and he's got pushed wide there by a lot of cars. It's absolute carnage for the man who led the race laps ago. Now he's down to 9th place, just 2 places ahead of his teammate. This is very bad news for the WR team as they try to make the most of their advantage in the field. Now they're straight ahead of one of the GRS drivers of Luke Mills in P12. Magic leading the way, but Louis Valentin is caught up to him already, and now the LP driver is leading the race. Tony Richet right behind as he touches him and bangs Magic into the wall. There was absolute disaster there. Magic banged into the wall by Tony Richet. There's no other way of saying that, and the second safety car of the race is already a fact. My goodness me, that was an absolute disaster. I don't think, of course, that was intentional. It's just that Magic had so much less speed through the Ascari corners. And now, there we go. I do think Tony's got some front wing damage. It's just ruined his race as well. No, he's actually going for tire change. Looks like the front wing somehow is still intact despite that tap there, which sent Magic into the wall. Alex Ferris retired as well. Both Spark cars are out of the race. What happened, Justin? Well, Tony Richet tapped Magic and he sent him flying when he was going through the Ascaris into the wall out of turn 10, completely destroying the rear of the car. That was absolute disaster, and that puts ABS on the back foot as well. They've had a brilliant run in France, but their run of bad luck continues. Now they're in 12th and 16th. A big F indeed. Thank you for clipping it. Make sure to watch it back, because that is one of the strangest crashes I've ever seen. I'll be honest. And look at that. There they are then. Quill and Luke. 4th and 7th. Right in between the WR's car. Luke is... I think Elias's race got saved somewhat by the second safety car. He'll not be pleased with what happened at the restart. Janesh is now the lead WR car. Into P6 he is. Nando Moreira in P5. We see Nathan Samba. There he is again in the podium place. And Seb, out of nowhere, now second. I'm not Swedish. No, I'm Dutch. I guess the accent sounds the same then. I try to hide it as much as possible, so I don't mind being called Swedish. There we go. Roman and the rest catching up to the rest of the field. We're about the halfway point of the race. 2 safety cars already. Charles Sutton, now the last car in the field. Look at NLR. Not only ABS is not doing brilliantly, NLR... Oh, 13th and 18th. Not that brilliant either, especially considering they're now 27 from top of my head points behind... behind GRS. No, I believe actually 10 points. Let's have a very quick look here at the standings. There you go, NLR 10 points behind. It's OP 27 points behind, so that's going to be interesting. They have the best papers now to potentially claim the lead in the championship. Safety car should be coming in at the end of this lap, as Tony Richet has rejoined just in time, thankfully. Otherwise, ABS will be having an even worse day. Probably the FIA will slam down pretty hard on Tony tonight. Of course, I can't predict that for sure. whether that's going to be counted as a racing incident or a penalty worth incident. But yeah, sparks will definitely fly, as they're both out. So then, Louis Valentin leading the race. He's looking very quick tonight. He could be scoring some important points for the team. His teammate in P5, also quite quick, Nando is. He's got Sap, Nathan and Quill ahead. Of course, GRS needs to pull their weight now. There we go. Restart number 2. Already Janesh on the offensive side by side with Nando Moreira. And looks like Nathan might have a go at Seb as well into turn 1. But it's Janesh Dovjan looking to have a proper go at the Williams car ahead in 4th position. Unsuccessful so far though. However, Nando Moreira has been left behind now. Up into 5th place Janesh goes. And it looks like Nathan is going feisty against Seb as well. He'd like to go one better than last time round in France, where he came 3rd on the line. He might just even get a one extra position here for 2nd place, fighting with Seb over that position. George Shockley going for a move there. Whoa, look at that. That was Tony Richer going for a move, in fact. On his very fresh tires, up into 10th position, right behind Elias Psaros right now. As he tries to get some extra temperature there, one way or another, out of turn 7. They're all looking very feisty, I believe, right here. The championship is definitely heating up big time. Louis Valentin, good restart there. Already he's got a 2nd gap to the next car, meaning he'll be already safe from DRS. Seb is unable to keep up on his hard tires. Nathan Samba is already all over the back of the Aston Martin. Thielem trying to keep Janesh Dovjan behind. In fact, it's actually Janesh Dovjan who had to try to keep Nando Moreira behind as he re-overtakes him for 5th position. Up into P5, Nando Moreira goes once again as Tony Richer is on an absolute fly. He's already up to P9 right now. He started 12th on this restart. He's doing quite well. The next target is Istvan Tamashi in P8, ETE there. He's got 2 cars at the points right now in P8 and P15. And as I say that, it's Roman Deschmay overtaking George Chalkley for P14. So 1 extra point there for the Red Bull team. And they need it, I'm telling you. They can overtake Spark here to get off that last place, since both cars are out. Nando Moreira on the offensive again, now trying to take Thielem there for 4th position. He's on a roll, that's for sure. Luke Mills on a roll as well. Once again cutting his way through the field. That's what both DRS drivers are good at, as you can see once again. Let's look at those position changes. Look at this. 8 and 6 positions better than the race start. Nathan Samba is of course the best driver out of them all. Started 13th, now, sorry, started 11th, now in 2nd place. He's overtaken Seb. It's happened while we were not watching it, unfortunately. And now Nathan is definitely on the roll. He's approaching Louis at quite the breakneck speed. Another fight for the lead between 2 drivers that nobody expected. Well, almost nobody. I believe we saw some predictions for Louis winning the race. But now Nathan is starting to come out of nowhere once again. You see an impatient Janesh there trying to re-overtake Nando, but it's in the meanwhile he has to keep an eye on his rear view mirrors as Luke Mills is getting closer and closer. Tony Richer is on the roll as well, on the freshest tires of the field of course. I'm not sure if Janesh knows that. Tony's got a job to do. If the FIA is going to crack down on him, he's got to make sure he gains as many positions as he possibly can. Janesh going defenses on Luke Mills. Luke unable to make the move work there. Of course, the DRS train not really helping in his favor. But they are very, very close together. He might even go for a move over here. Look at Luke Mills especially. He's going to go for it already into turn 11. Parabolica. But does Janesh carry more speed? No, he doesn't. He goes quite a bit wide. And now he has to slot in behind the Ferrari as well. Janesh lost 2 positions through Parabolica. Let's see at the fight for the lead what's going on here. It's Nathan Samba getting closer and closer into turn 1. Is he going to go for the move for the lead? Yes, he is. And as soon as turn 1 happens, he's already taken the lead. Nathan Samba for the ERT team leading the race. Louis has been demoted back to second place. Seb, let's see if he can mount a challenge then to Louis. But Louis, despite having the faster tires, I think those mediums are already past their prime. But look at this, he's got a lot of speed out of turns 2 and 3. Almost having tried to make a move again there, but unsuccessful yet. Let's see if he can claw his position back in the lead of the race. Can he do it? Nathan goes a bit wide there. I'm afraid that might have been a warning. ERT now first and last. Yes, we have got a very big ERT sandwich. George just can't keep up with the rest apparently. Neither can Guti. Looks like Louis is keeping his DRS close there. You saw his rear wing not opening whatsoever. He doesn't want to make the move over here, which I think is not a bad idea. But Seb has now closed the gap completely. Louis playing it smart, but he has to make sure he keeps the occasional look in his rear view mirrors, because there's many cars approaching very closely. Look at that then. Rendo Moreira has got a brilliant run on Crithielum there for 4th position. However, the Williams itself is going to go for a move. We might see 3 wide in turn 1. It's many cars going past Nathan Seba. Potentially it's 2 cars. Louis Valentin retaking the lead. Seb taking second place. Or is he though? Because Nathan Seba is still somewhat side by side as they go through turn 3. Can Nathan Seba claw back second place? No. From the lead to third in 1 corner. That for you is Monza. It could have gone wrong, yes, but it didn't, thankfully. We don't want a 3rd safety car, because the racing so far is absolutely brilliant. And Tony Richet already up to 4th place. He started about 11th on the restart. He's absolutely going haywire. Don't count him out just yet. George Chalkley, I think, has spun out in turn 5. There's a yellow flag over there. Not going too well there. And there we go, Nathan Samba retaking second place, but he's absolutely miscalculated the exit out of the corner there. Now is in serious trouble onto the last straight. Look at this, it's now Tony Richet trying to get back onto the podium. He's fighting side by side with Seb. Can he keep the position there? Nathan going defensive against both cars. Seb on the inside, pushing the Ferrari a bit wide there. It's Nando versus Crithielum as well as they fight for 5th position. Seb now down to 4th. Tony Richet up to 3rd place. Nathan has already lost connection to Louis as Louis has gone far and wide. And we see Ilias Psarros potentially in the wall on the main straight. What on earth has happened there? There's so many things going on. Everybody's going side by side basically over here. Both GRS cars going side by side. Janess going to go through both of the GRS cars here. But the Williams cars have pretty much boxed him in. And Elias is out of the race. I repeat, Elias has retired. Something must have happened there. Not sure what exactly, but now it's up to Janesh to save whatever points can be saved for the team. He's got both GRS cars now behind him. He's managed to take away from both of them. Now let's see if they can take the fight back to the team of the orange cars. Right now, potentially I think OP could be leading the championship. WR, GRS, NLR all on the back foot. People asking why Elias has given up. I can't answer the question for you, unfortunately. Guti Balint has retired as well. That means there's only 1 car out of the points right now. And George probably wouldn't mind that. If 1 more car retires, he does score a point. An extra point for ERT. Nathan has now been demoted to 5th place. And Tony is absolutely going ham. He's already cleared Seb of DRS. And then the Moreira would like to do the same as he goes past the Aston Martin into turn 1. Already past, safe and sound. Up to 3rd place goes Nando Moreira. OP in 1st and 3rd. They're absolutely making the most of the situation of the other teams. GRS not doing that bad, but WOR right now 1 car remaining. NLR in 11th and 8th place. All not as great as OP right now. The AlphaTauris doing a perfect job. ABS is trying to come back as well. Noé Grosjean going for a move, and Istvan Tamashi going wide, unfortunately. We call that one a camera! And it's a tap between Aaron and Istvan Tamashi. Not entirely sure what happened there. There was a bump. It's Aaron suddenly going to the right and bumping into the Red Bull there. Might have been a bit of imbalance there from the Mercedes. I cannot imagine that was intentional. Another car is out. Safety car is out. And this is why you don't retire. I think I can agree on that one. I'm supposed to stay neutral, but this was the moment where drivers like Guti and Elias could have come back. Lap 20, and the third safety car is out. And this, I think, will trigger another round of pit stops, as everybody might just go for the soft tires. Because none of those tires they have on right now are that fresh anymore. Even Tony's tires are already 9 laps old. Look at this, soft tires coming off the Ferrari at least. Louis Valentin. Let's see, yep, soft tires as well. Everybody's going to go for the Red Bull tires there for the final stint of this race. A big sprint. And you know what this means. I broke character, yeah, I do apologize. What I was trying to say, this means Monza and sprint, it might be absolute chaos. Because everybody is going to go ham to make sure they win the race. Tony has reclaimed the position he was in originally, trying to overtake Magic. Until he bumped the Alpine into the wall. Seb still hanging around in third, Nathan Samba now up to fourth. Once again, Nando falling victim to the double stack. He's now down to fifth place. Not that big of a loss though. For Thielem in P6, Dwight Chow in P7, and LR might claw back some points here, depending on how they do. Charles Sutton sitting around in 12th. Aaron now down to P13 after the bump with the Red Bull of Istvan Tamashi. ETE's only got one car remaining, and that's Roman's car. He's driving around in P9, which is not too bad considering they're last in the standings. And both Spa cars are out. So, if I had to give any advice to Roman, just bring the points home. So if you have a quick look again at the standings, let's see, the points difference is 23 points. So they'll need every single one of them, ETE, to overtake Spark for that position. So everybody on fresh soft tires, or at least that's what the game is saying. I do know they have 4 sets of tires during qualifying, 4 sets of soft tires. And I don't know if everybody has used them, but at least according to the game, all of these tires are fresh. The safety car will be coming in at the end of lap 22, which means we'll have 5 laps of racing. Which is basically just an open lobby. I hope they won't behave like drivers in an open lobby, because that's an entirely different story. But 5 laps to see who comes out victorious. Will Louis be able to keep the lead and fend off Tony Richet? Can Tony claim a second victory in a row for ABS after they went down the field quite a bit in this race? Maybe they can still claw that victory to their grasps. I wonder if they can pull it off. Can Nathan pull off another podium, 2 in a row, by fighting Seb? Potentially more than that. Can GRS keep the lead in the standings by making sure their cars get to the front of the field as much as possible right now in P6 and P11? As we see Noé Grosjean getting a 5-second penalty for a severe collision. Again, I believe that's the second penalty he's gotten. He's already served the other one. They just bumped into one another there. Also, so far, no track limit penalties. Although I've probably jinxed it right now. So let's see. Open lobby is GRS 1-2. Yeah, to be fair, from what we've seen in the last 4 races, GRS has been able to make the most of chaotic situations. As you can see right here, it somewhat proves that point. They started way lower than they're driving around in right now. So, the probably final restart of this race. We have 3 so far. Let's see if Louis Valentin can catch the other cars napping once more. We had a brilliant restart, the previous one. Tony Richet now is right behind him. When is he gonna go? I think Bernd Mailander has led the most laps this race so far. It could be, yeah. Well, Louis is not that far behind though, and off he goes. Looks like Tony was quite awake In fact, he was so awake, he's gaining and gaining and gaining on the OP driver. Is he going to go for a move in turn 1? I think he'll be too far away. Sepp, though, has to go defensive as Nathan tries to go on a move for him into turn 1. Can Sepp maintain this third position? Yes, he can. I believe there was a bit of contact, and Nando bumping his front wing into the back of Nathan's car. That immediately means that Carthelum might potentially go for a move there, but they have to stay behind for the time being. We see the Roman Dishmay have an absolutely beautiful restart up to 7th place, but now under threat from Raul Reyes as they go to the next corner. Where are they gonna go? Side by side. They're still side by side. It's 4 cars, 5 cars fighting for a position here. We see pieces of front wing flying off already. The chaos has well and truly started as Roman is now the leader of the second group of cars. The top 6 has just pretty much flown away into the distance as they were fighting hard for position. Dwight Chow then fighting for 9th place with Raul Reyes successfully getting past. Luke Mills still tucking in behind in 11th position for the time being. When is he gonna go for the move, you might wonder? We'll find out soon enough. Tony Richet slowly but surely lining up Louis Valentin in the meanwhile for the race lead. Where is he going to go for it? We see Luke Mills then overtaking Raul Reyes for 10th position. Sepp setting the fastest lap of the race. Tony Richet is getting closer and closer. Louis Valentin going defensive on the inside. Can Tony Richet try it around the outside in turn 1? They go very close together. They're nearly making contact. I believe there was a bit of wheel banging back and forth, but Louis holds on to the lead for the time being, allowing the rest to close up once again. Sepp and Nathan still sticking very close. Carthelum not too far behind either. 5 cars, 6 cars close together for the race victory, and Roman Dishmay has to lead a pack of cars closer to them as Tony Richet nearly went for the move once again in turn 4, but he has to stay behind. He'll have to rely on DRS and extra power from the car. The ERS, the battery, of course, having to do the work there. There's only 4 laps remaining, 3.5 in fact, as we are already on lap 24. Louis is still leading that race, but for how long? That's the question. We'll find out. As soon as DRS gets enabled, if Tony can mount a bigger attack. Sepp sticking behind for the time being, still waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Nathan Samba still in 4th. Nando Morin, Carthelum still in 5th and 6th. And Roman Dishmay, look at that, he's already connected to that group. He's now got connection. Only 3/10 behind the Williams ahead. Janesh Devjan wants to stay with them as well. He's about half a second behind that pack over there. Luke Mills up into 10th place. Charles Sutton having lost connection. Look at this once again. Everybody's setting fastest lap there. Luke Mills now going for the fastest lap. A crucial extra point for the GRS team. They'll need it as OP is going to go for it. But it looks like Tony Richet this time got a bit further ahead of Louis Valentin and now claims the lead of the race. Could it be 2-2 for the last 2 races for the ABS team as they now claim the lead of the race? And now Louis demoted to 2nd place. But there's now DRS and that means he can have a go in the final 2.5 laps. It's going to be anybody's guess who will win this race. Excitement all around. It's now Janesh up into 7th. Roman back down to P8, but he started 19th. Oh, looking like he got a brilliant run through the first Lasmo. Less ideal through the second one though, so he had to brake a bit earlier than he would have liked, of course. Louis Valentin going for the move. No, once again sticking behind. Was that a bit of a bump there? It was a bit difficult to see, but it seems like there was a bit of an imbalance in Tony's Ferrari there. It's always quite difficult to judge, of course. There we go. Janesh going for a move on the Williams. There, up into 6th place he goes, ahead of Carthelum. Nice and easy does it, is what I always say. As we now head into the final 2 laps of this race. It is Louis Valentin going for the lead of this race. Is Sepp gonna have a move as well? It's actually Janesh having a go, and then the Moreira out of nowhere he pretty much gone. We saw it happening in the background, but up into 5th place he goes. He's trying to save whatever can be saved in terms of points for the team. He's got no other choice but to go very aggressive. Nathan is still in the meanwhile hanging behind Sepp. He's waiting for that perfect opportunity to strike. Tony Richet is hanging on behind as well. He's got the next straight to make the move. The main straight is probably the place he wants to go for it. Otherwise, Louis will just come back to him on that main straight. So, when is he gonna go for it? I will say he's not gonna go for it here, but maybe Nathan will go for it as they're all still in DRS range. Look at that. Tony is all the way moving out of slipstream to make sure he doesn't get too close to the car ahead. He does have DRS. The front wing, the rear wing is open. Would have been interesting if the front wing turned out to be opening there. So yeah, you can just stick behind, go for the main straight, and then attack mode over there as we head into the final lap of the race at any moment now. There they go, through Parabolica. Who will come out victorious? Will it be Carnage for the top two? Will we see a surprise winner? Or will it be Louis or Tony? We'll find out in about 1 minute and 20 seconds who will be winning this race. Tony goes on the attack. Up he goes into the lead. The only option for Louis right now is either to get a brilliant exit out of turn 2 or go for it on the back straight, or maybe even the straight out of turn 10. There's about 2 opportunities remaining right now to retake the lead of the race. Which opportunity is he going to take? Are there any other attacks happening right now? I see Thielen getting very close to Nando Moreira. He's trying to go down the outside, but Nando keeps the door closed, nice and firm on the car behind, and that allows Dwight Chow nearly to have a look at the Williams car. Look at that. OP team now in 2nd and 6th place, which of course will be a blessing for GRS and WOR and NLR, of course. Do not forget them. And here we go then. Looks like Louis didn't get a brilliant exit out of the Lesmos. He'll be too far behind to place an attack. Can Nathan place an attack? No, he can't. We have a yellow flag as George is spun out once again. This time coming out of turn 7. Whoa, Louis going very, very wide indeed. But still, he can't get the run up to Tony. And that means, unless something terrible happens here in the Parabolica, Tony Richet will claim a 2nd victory in a row for Team ABS. There we go. Across the line goes the Ferrari and Monza. Tony Richet wins the Italian Grand Prix. Louis Valentin has to settle for 2nd. Sepp will be delighted in 3rd place. Janesh has taken Nathan Samba on the line for 4th place to get some extra points there for the orange team. Nathan Samba down in P5, still probably will be reasonably satisfied. I think Thielen will be dissatisfied as well with P6, and we'll see about the rest in a moment. Right, oh, what a final few laps that was. Roman Dismay here displayed as driver of the day. A question mark about Joe retired. I don't think it really matters though, because they'll still be classified. Whoop. Tony Richet dropping on the podium there as he wins 2nd race for ABS. I believe Tony also won last time round in France as well. So that's 2 victories in a row and the fastest lap. Huge points for ABS there. Louis Valentin in 2nd, Sepp in 3rd, Janesh in 4th, Nathan P5, Thielen in P6, Nando Moreira then in P7. You'll not be too happy about that one. It was nearly an OP 1-2 there. We'll have to see about their points to see if they can take the lead in the championship. The first NLR car then in P8, Luke Mills in P9, Roman Dismay scoring some much needed points for ET in P10. Charles Sutton in 11th, FFC there, Aaron Raminguez and Raul Reyes in 12th and 13th place, some points for them. George in P14, extra points for ERT, and then Noé Grosjean. Yeah, he's actually retired, but he'll still be classified and therefore scoring points in 15th and last classified place. Then the non-finish, of course, is Fentamashi, Ilias Pseudos, Guti Balint, Alex Fair, and Magic. And there we go. Confirming there that Noé will not be receiving a point. Alright, that's fair enough, I guess. Alright. Let's see if anybody is in for an interview. Let me actually join the commentary box myself. That would be quite useful. Let's see if any of them is willing to give some insight on how their races went. Tony, Louis and Seb. I think especially Seb will be delighted with this victory. I think Tony will be happy as well, although he might have to face the FIA. after pretty much taking out Magic's Spark car. But we'll see. Let me actually tag them and see if they are up for it. Tony, Louis, Seb. Can't find Seb, unfortunately. He's probably got a different Discord name. Ah, Seb isn't in the Discord yet. Let's hope he'll be joining soon. Looks like we are having no responses from either of the top two then. Seb, of course, not being in yet means, unfortunately, we'll not be getting our interviews. I would have liked to hear from them, see how their races went from their points of view. Especially from Tony. Maybe you could give some insight on what exactly happened between himself and Magic. Unfortunately, that is not meant to be. So, let's have a look at the calendar. You see there, the break week should have been today. Not happening. Next week, we'll be going to my place, to my home in the Netherlands, at Zandvoort. I do not live at Zandvoort, just a little side note there. But it will be nice to see them driving around a track I know so well. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. We'll see you next week, and let's do some maths in the meantime to see who will be leading the championship. Until then, goodbye.